Welcome back to Power and Politics, everyone. The city continues to manage the influx of asylum seekers into the 5 boroughs. Mayor Eric Adams visiting Central and South America this week, while Deputy Mayor Ann Williams-Isom saying that the number of people arriving each day continues to increase. Now, this has led to the need for more migrant shelters and migrant centers, some of which have been met with protests from the local community. However, Brooklyn State Assemblymember Rodneyse Bichotte Hermelyn says communities in her borough are welcoming of shelters and tells me that she does not believe the entire city is shouldering the responsibility equally.
In New York City, most of the communities of color and low incomes are the ones who are shouldering the brunt of the migrant crisis. And that has been really been a negative impact on the very little resources that many of these communities have been challenged with. You know, you have communities that have environmental issues, housing issues, crime issues, gun violence, things of that nature. And to constantly house migrants who also need resources has been kind of inequitable when there's a number of other neighborhoods that have not had one shelter. And so, you know, Democrats have been calling in. We have neighborhoods like Bay Ridge, Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn Heights. These are neighborhoods that don't have not one shelter. Okay, and so we're just asking our neighborhoods to, hey, you know, spread the love. Please share in the responsibility in inviting and embracing these migrants. Our public advocate had issued a statement. He lives in the Fort Hamilton Army base, and he had issued a statement in support of what I said, saying that neighborhoods needs to be responsible in sharing the responsibilities of taking in some of these migrants. And you know, we're looking at statistics where the South Bronx, mostly people of color, Southeast Queens, mostly people of color, Brownsville, mostly people of color. Those neighborhoods are carrying the largest number of shelters and migrants. So, you know, we're just asking folks to take a look in their neighborhoods and spread the love. We're just looking for different solutions. It's not only like looking at different neighborhoods, but we're also looking at how do we get more federal aid? How do we extend TPS? The Venezuelans, TPS was extended to them. That gives them status to work, okay? And Governor Hochul had announced that they found 400 employers who are ready to employ 18,000 migrants. I think that's great. So we're looking to see, can the same extension of TPS be also offered to other nationalities?
So Rodneyse, from if I'm understanding it correctly, you're saying there's actually are people who are making requests. There are people making requests saying, we want to help, we have the space, we want to do something. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and actually we have gotten requests from, like I said, residents from Bay Ridge who said, hey, we have proposals. There are a couple of places that we can build the shelters. And not only that, but the city is also looking at all these areas that do not have any shelters, considering expanding. You know, Mayor Adams said, we have no room. We have no room. And so we're looking to see where we can expand and make sure that these migrants are safe and sound, and they have access to resources. You know, they were contemplating the Fort Hamilton Army base. I think that's a perfect place to have a shelter because there's security there. There's security there. You know that people who will be at the Army base would be safe and sound, and they will have access to resources. So, you know, we want to think about this country. We want to think about New York City. This is a city that was built on the foundation of immigrants, and we can't turn our back on people who are here and who are crying for the same American dream that many of us had an opportunity. I am the daughter of Haitian immigrants. I understand what it is to seek for a place of refuge. seek for a place where there's an opportunity to have a better quality of life for me and my children. And currently, I am an intern working at an immigration law firm. And I can tell you, for every client that walks in, all they want is an opportunity.
I want to ask you to give you a chance just to respond to, I'm sure you saw that the New York Post article framing your statement and your point of view here as, and I'm quoting their headline here, white areas dodging migrant shelters. Is that the point you're trying to make here?
No, that's not the point. The point is that we have a number of areas, communities that happens to be affluent, that happens to be majority white, that do not have any shelters. The vast majority of the shelters have been placed in areas that are Black and Brown communities, areas that are low income, areas that already have shouldered high number of shelters. And it's just going to exacerbate the resources that they are still looking to get. And so if you have a Brooklyn Heights that have a number of vacant buildings that have space, why can't we look into housing migrants there? Bay Ridge is pretty big. Fort Hamilton, pretty big. There's space there. You can upzone, you can build shelters, you can, there's hotels there that you can house them. There's a number of hotels that are willing to open their space to house a lot of these migrants. So yeah, it just so happens that the vast majority of these neighborhoods that's been shouldering, these shelters and migrants have been Black and Brown communities.
All right, don't go anywhere. We've got more Power in Politics right here on News 12 in just a few minutes.